Divine revelation awaits you. Miraculous prophecy confirmed for Thursday, August 14th, 2025. In the quaint village of Eldersham, whispers filled the air like leaves rustling in the breeze. Divine revelation awaited, a promise of miraculous healing. Rebecca, a devoted mother and esteemed member of the local Anglican church, felt the palpable electricity of the moment. Her heart raced with fragile hope. She had received a vision, a beautiful glimpse of Tuesday's light breaking over their village, proclaiming healing for her children and all who suffered. It was on a quiet evening, beneath the sprawling branches of the ancient oak tree, that she first felt the presence of the Almighty surrounding her. The gathering of fellow believers huddled close, hands clasped in fervent prayer, when a glow pierced the shadowed canopy. A voice, gentle yet powerful, echoed through her soul. Healing shall arrive on August 14th. Have faith. Vivid colors danced before her, filling her spirit with warmth. Tears streamed down cheeks of the gathered congregation, a collective embodiment of joy and disbelief. As days yielded to weeks, fear intruded into Rebecca's household. One by one, her children faced alarming health challenges, sending ripples of despair through her heart. Each child's illness drove her deeper into prayer, pleading to St. Jude, the patron saint of hopeless causes. Would her intense prayers be enough to challenge the gathering storm? Tension escalated in Eldersham as the fateful date drew close. Her heart swelled with relentless faith, yet the recognition of the surrounding doubt dug at her. She felt compelled to share her vision with Pastor Thomas, a man whose heart was anchored deep in practical wisdom, but whose skepticism simmered like a pot about to boil. Upon hearing Rebecca's fervent claims, he wrestled with her story, straining to reconcile with the shadows plaguing the village. Miracles happen, Rebecca, but miracles come in God's timing, he cautioned, worry etching lines on his face. Before we continue, I need to tell you about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, click the bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can, leave a like, it really helps me reach more people. Oh, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now, let's continue. As the prophetic day approached, whispers turned to heated debates. A crack formed within the church as some embraced Rebecca's fervent hope, while others scoffed, deeming her visions mere fantasy. Desperate to unify the town, Rebecca organized a prayer gathering under that sacred oak. As the villagers joined hands, the air thickened with anticipation, creating a canopy of belief that enveloped them all. Still, Rebecca's youngest child lay gravely ill at home, darkening her spirit, testing her faith against the tide of hysteria and ticking clocks. The dawn of August 14th arrived, cloaked in tension. Rebecca stood amidst her congregation in the church, voices lifted as one, beseeching for a sign, a flicker of divine glory to light their darkened hearts. The hour approached. Hope hung heavy in the air, each second stretching painfully. Yet as the clock's hands danced toward midnight, confusion settled like a fog. Would their prayers ascend to meet the heavens, or would silence greet their desperate cries? The clock chimed, a haunting sound echoing throughout the walls of the church, leaving Rebecca standing at the edge of faith and despair, wondering if the miraculous promise would indeed shake the very ground of Eldersham. What would happen when the time arrived? Would healing rain down from the heights above, or would their faith crumble in the midst of unanswered prayers? The weight of silence engulfed the church as the clock struck midnight, each chime reverberating through Rebecca's very soul. Her heart pounded as she scanned the faces of her fellow worshippers, a tapestry of hope and fear woven tightly together. Eyebrows furrowed, some congregants exchanged glances filled with uncertainty. Whispers faded to hushed murmurs, and the flickering candles cast trembling shadows against the stone walls. "Is it time?" An elderly woman whispered, her voice trembling like the wick of the candles. "I feel him near," Rebecca replied, her voice steady but her heart racing. She closed her eyes, picturing the vision she had received, the vibrant colors painting a scene of grace and healing. "We must not waver now. Our faith is powerful." As if in response, a gentle breeze coursed through the open windows, brushing past Rebecca's skin and lifting the hairs on her arms. It felt like a whisper from above, a reminder that the Creator was still in control. The air grew thick, charged with anticipation as faith interwove with doubt. How could she hold this fragile thread of hope aloft amidst the chaos? Forcing her eyes open, she inhaled deeply, breathing in the scent of burning wax and the lingering warmth of prayer. "Let us pray again, brothers and sisters," she urged, her voice ringing out over the stillness. "Let us call upon the Lord with renewed fervor, just as the faithful always have, even in the darkest times." The villagers rallied, their voices rising in a beautiful symphony of supplication, a chorus of brokenness offering up their hopes. Hands clasped tighter as they forged a bond of unwavering belief, lifting their requests into the night. Rebecca felt the surge, an electric current flowing through them, filling her with purpose. In that moment, a light flickered at the periphery of her vision, drawing her gaze toward the altar. A golden shimmer coated the edges, making the air around it glisten, resembling distant stars reflecting on a tranquil sea. Gasps escaped the lips of the congregation, all weaving its way through their collective prayer. Was this a sign? Was hope descending upon them like a rain of blessings? Pastor Thomas stood transfixed, his expression shifting from skepticism to wonder as he observed the phenomenon. From doubt to belief, he took a tentative step forward. "What is this?" he murmured, staring at the glimmering light. "Faith," Rebecca breathed, tears filling her eyes as she felt a warm wave wash over her. "This is the promise unfolding." The light pulsated gently, each beat carrying a tone of reassurance, a melody that resonated within their hearts. They were on the cusp of something monumental, a divine revelation, healing promised on the winds of faith. But as quickly as the light burst forth, a shadow loomed just beyond. Rebecca's heart began to stutter. Was there yet more to this story? Were they to confront something deeper within themselves, a test not just of faith, but of spirit? The congregation trembled, wavering on the edge of uncertainty, even as hope flickered like the candle flames. And just when it seemed the moment would resolve, an unexpected silence fell, freezing time itself. A figure stepped forward from the shadows, his features obscured, yet a palpable sense of authority surrounded him. "What you seek has only just begun," he spoke, voice deep and resonant, echoing off the walls. Rebecca's heart raced. Who was this man, and what did he mean? Her breath caught in her throat. What further truths lay before them in this sacred hour? As shadows danced and the light pulsed, the congregation held their collective breath, caught in a swirl of anticipation. What revelation awaited them now? Would they grasp the healing promised, or would a deeper understanding lead them through the valleys of their very own souls? The figure moved closer, casting flickering shadows across the altar. His voice, rich with authority, sounded like it belonged to a realm beyond comprehension. "You are gathered here not by chance, but by purpose, drawn together in the fire of faith." Rebecca felt her pulse quicken as the words washed over her, igniting a deep yearning within. There was something about the way he spoke, a gravity that pulled at her spirit. The congregation was still, gripped by the weight of his presence. Each heart beat as one, a heartbeat of expectation. "Tonight," he continued, his gaze locking onto Rebecca, "marks the beginning of a journey. You stand on the precipice of understanding, where truth and revelation collide. It may not come wrapped in the comfort you seek, but it shall transform all that is within you." An uneasy murmur rippled through the assembled faithful, but Rebecca remained steady. "We are ready, Lord," she declared, emboldened by the unseen hand pushing her forward. "Let your truth cascade upon us." As she spoke, the ambient light pulsed brighter, illuminating the figure before them. He raised one hand, silencing the whispers that dare to question what lay ahead. The path to your healing lies not just in what you seek, but in who you become in the process. Each of you must confront the shadows within the fears that haunt your steps. His gaze swept across the crowd, piercing yet compassionate. Faces turned pale, and shoulders tensed at his directive. Had they not endured enough? Yet, among them, there glimmered an ember of courage. Remember, he reminded them, spiritual growth does not come without trials. Like silver refined in the fire, you will be purified. Are you willing to embrace this? Are you willing to lay bare your very souls? Rebecca felt a heavy weight in the air, tension, uncertainty, but also a flickering flame of resolve. Each heartbeat echoed the question, riding the crest of the collective fear. I am. A voice boomed, breaking the stillness. It was Daniel, a young man burdened by doubt and loss, his eyes shining with fervor. I choose to walk this path, whatever it takes. Rebecca sensed the shift in energy, a wave of hope entwining with the call to challenge. Shuffling murmurs turned to affirmations, rippling through the congregation. We will face it, echoed another. Yes, together, cried yet another voice, bolstered by the growing chorus. The figure nodded, a slight smile playing on his lips. Unity in faith is your strength, and it will guide you through the coming storm. The healing you seek may come in unexpected ways, but it will be born from your willingness to be truthfully seen. The air shimmered again, thick and heavy with the sacred. Rebecca inhaled deeply, the warmth swirling around her like a comforting embrace. It felt almost tangible, the presence of divinity, strengthening them, lifting them in fellowship. As their voices raised in agreement, the figure stepped even closer to the altar. But know this, he warned, the road will not be easy. Doubts will rise like specters, and shadows will try to reclaim what you have declared. Stand firm, for each victory you claim will lead to the next revelation, truth upon truth. Rebecca's heart soared yet sank at the same time. What burdens lay in wait? What fears had she tucked away? What if the truth revealed to her was one she had to fight to accept? But even as her mind raced, a stillness enveloped her. She felt a presence deep within, a knowing that whatever lay ahead, it was divinely woven into the fabric of her life. With the congregation's voices still lifting in prayer, a new light ignited at the altar, breaking through the darkness. It pulsed in rhythm with their hearts, a sign that the journey had indeed begun. As the shadows seemed to draw back, Rebecca's gaze remained fixed on the figure who had sparked this awakening. What is the first step? She asked, resolved to embrace what destiny would unfold. The twinkle in his eyes shone brighter, and in that sacred moment, hope surged anew, yet a question lingered like a whisper. Are you prepared for what you will find inside? And can you carry the weight of such truth? Rebecca shivered, realizing that the journey ahead might lead them not just to victory, but into the depths of self-discovery. What truths lay veiled? What might they uncover in their souls? The air crackled, and the flickering light cast shadows anew, hinting at trials unforeseen. Only divine intervention can pave the path to understanding, the figure said, and the congregation murmured in awe. What awaited them in this revelation? Would they rise in faith at the brink of despair, or would they falter at the threshold of truth? Rebecca felt her heart pound as the figure's words settled weightily in the air. He was asking them something profound, something that felt like a sacred oath. Can you carry the weight of such truth? The very essence of that question sent a ripple through her. She looked at her fellow congregants, feeling the shared trepidation that danced between them. The atmosphere shifted. Energy crackled like electricity, wrapping around each person like a warm blanket and challenging them at the same time. Eyes shifted cautiously, uncertain yet hungry for what lay ahead. The flickering light around them danced with reassurance, urging them to push past the shadows of fear that clung tightly to their hearts. "Gather closer," the figure commanded gently, his voice resonating through the dimness as though calling to the very core of their beings. "Let's forge a bond together in this sacred moment." They moved as one, still quivering but undeniably drawn forward, pressing into the light at the altar. Each person felt it now, the pulse of unity amid vulnerability. Rebecca stepped forward, joining hands with Daniel and others, a circle weaving compassion and strength. "What do we do next?" Someone whispered, eyes wide, reflecting the flickering light that breathed life into their souls. A smile broke the figure's countenance, illuminating his features with divine warmth. The first step is one of surrender, a letting go. You must release that which holds you back. It is in this act of yielding that you may find the power to embrace the truth laid before you. Rebecca swallowed hard. The idea of relinquishing her burdens felt monumental. Memories of past regrets, fears of failure, and the what-ifs that haunted her mind clouded her spirit. But she knew deep down there was liberation in his words. Surrender. It echoed through her, resonating amid her physical form as she released a breath she hadn't known she was holding. She felt the walls within her tighten and then begin to soften, as if they were made of clay being shaped by a divine sculptor. "Begin with your fears. Speak them aloud," the figure urged. "Let the shadows tremble before the light of truth. It is only in acknowledging them that you shall see their power fade." The atmosphere thickened with anticipation. Rebecca felt the energy magnetic, drawing forth her hidden anxieties. Hesitantly, she spoke, "I fear that I am not enough, that my wounds will never heal." Her voice shook, yet as she uttered her truth, an inexplicable relief washed over her, like rain on parched soil. Others began to follow, sharing their admissions, confusion, and pain. "I fear rejection, I fear failure, I fear being left alone." Each declaration became an act of release, and with each moment of vulnerability, the light grew stronger, consuming the shadows that had whispered lies for far too long. The figure nodded, his presence intensifying. "Let those fears be known, for healing begins in authenticity." The congregation became a chorus of shared struggles, a harmonious testament to human frailty, yet imbued with miraculous potential. Rebecca could feel something shifting within her, a weight lifting, the dark thoughts scattering like leaves in a breeze. She looked around and saw it in the faces of others. Fear turned to courage, sorrow shifted to hope. Their spirits intertwined, creating a web of strength in holy communion. Then, with the fervor of their collective honesty, an unexpected hush descended. The air became thick with expectation. The figure raised his hand, and a brilliant burst of light emerged from within the altar, illuminating their faces in soft golden hues. "This is the divine illuminating your path," he whispered solemnly. "Now, hold fast to these truths, for they shall guide your journey." Rebecca's heart raced. "What happens now?" She breathed, filled with eager anticipation. "You shall be tested," he replied, his gaze unwavering. "But remember, each trial is a teacher, and you will emerge stronger." With that, the light flickered and transformed, spiraling into intricate formations that danced around them. "The next step awaits you. Heed the call of your hearts. Are you ready to follow it?" Rebecca understood that the journey was just beginning. Trials were on the horizon, but with courage kindling within her soul, she felt emboldened to rise. What lay ahead? The unknown shimmered on the edges of her mind, hinting at discoveries that awaited them. Will you step into the unknown with faith? The figure's eyes glimmered, deeper than the skies above. She believed they would. They had no other choice, for a beautiful mystery stretched out before them. Would they grasp it and forge ahead? Or would they hesitate, loitering at the gates of their destiny? The light around them swirled into colorful orbs, each one a representation of hope and faith. A gentle breeze swept through the room, as if the very essence of the divine was whispering promises of brighter tomorrows. Rebecca looked into the faces of her fellow congregants. The determination shining in their eyes was palpable. Everyone seemed to pulse with a newfound energy, a vibrant essence that radiated warmth. They were united, heart to heart, soul to soul. Together, we will face the trials ahead. Daniel spoke up, his voice steady despite the uncertainty that lay ahead. No one carries their burdens alone anymore. We stand with each other. An agreement rippled through the circle. Words of support floated softly on the air, the bonds of their hearts strengthening with each shared promise. It felt like a prayer, born from sincerity, echoing within the walls of their sacred space. The figure nodded approvingly, his eyes holding depth that made them feel seen, really seen. Indeed, together, you shall face the tests that are to come. Together you will endure, and together you will flourish. Rebecca felt her soul swell with love and gratitude. But what if we falter? She asked, her voice trembling ever so slightly. What if our faith wavers? Ah, dear child, the figure replied, his voice soft yet powerful. Even the strongest of trees bend in the storm. It is not the faltering that defines you, but how you rise again, how you ground yourself and reach for the light after the darkness. Her heart warmed at his words, a vibrant ray of divine wisdom wrapping around her like a protective embrace. Together, Rebecca repeated, allowing the weight of that promise to settle in her spirit. As if summoned by their collective determination, the light in the room brightened. Shadows retreated, revealing gentle wisps of color that danced joyously around them. Each flicker felt like an angelic presence, affirming that they were not abandoned but held tenderly in a divine embrace. Now, the figure urged, you must walk through the portal of your fears. It stand before you. Step forward in faith. Embrace the uncertainty and find the treasures hidden in the heart of trial. Rebecca stepped forward, the warm glow pulling at her. It shimmered like a river of possibilities, inviting her to take the leap. She exchanged glances with Daniel, whose reassuring nod guided her. Let us remember, he said, his voice calm, it is only by walking through the unknown that we uncover our true selves and the plans God has for us. And so, one by one, they approached the portal. Each footfall felt like a beat against the heart of the universe, a proclamation that they were ready to meet what was to come. As Rebecca stepped through, the light engulfed her, swirling around her like a protective cocoon. She gasped in awe as visions flashed before her eyes, visions of courage, resilience, love, and unity. The scenery transformed around them. Vibrant fields of flowers stretched into infinity. Mountains stood tall and proud, and the sky was alive with colors that made her heart sing. It felt celestial, a sacred canvas painted with possibilities. But fear rippled in the depths of her chest. What now? She thought, her spirit longing for assurance. She felt twinges of doubt as uncertainty crept in, whispering warnings about the trials yet unseen. The figure appeared beside her in this new realm, his presence a comforting anchor. Trust, he urged softly. Trust that each challenge reveals a piece of the greater truth. Trust that courage springs forth when faced with adversity. In that moment, Rebecca closed her eyes, allowing the warmth of his words to envelop her. As she inhaled, she felt hope blossom inside her, pushing aside the shadows of uncertainty. It was a fragile light, but it was enough to ignite her spirit. Together she whispered, reaffirming their promise among her fellow congregants scattered about the magnificent expanse. But hidden beneath the surface was an invitation to deeper exploration. What lessons awaited as they ventured further? What shadows would they confront, and what revelations lay on the other side? The journey ahead shimmered with promise, yet it beckoned with equal parts challenge, as if the cosmos itself were inviting them to uncover the divine secrets on the horizon. Would their faith endure the trials, or would the seeds of doubt take root? With hearts intertwined and purpose ignited, they moved forward, drawn towards the unknown that awaited them. What would they discover when confronted with the very essence of their souls? The moment they crossed into the vibrant fields, a soothing melody filled the air, echoing from the very soul of creation. It was a sound that whispered of unity, interwoven with joy, drawing Rebecca and her companions deeper into the breathtaking landscape. Each note resonated within them, igniting sparks of hope and fervor. They looked around, eyes wide with wonder. The flowers were alive in hues they had never seen before. Deep purples and brilliant golds danced together, creating a tapestry of divine artistry. With every gentle gust of wind, petals fluttered like graceful angels ascending towards the sky. Rebecca smiled, feeling the warmth of the sun on her face. "It's beautiful," she breathed, almost reverently. "Not as beautiful as what we are becoming," Daniel replied, his voice laced with excitement. "This place reflects the journey God has in store for us." But just as they marveled at the beauty surrounding them, dark clouds began to gather on the horizon. A chill swept over the field, contrasting sharply with the warmth they had felt moments before. Shadows stretched and twisted ominously, creeping towards them like a storm being beckoned. Anxiety flickered in Rebecca's heart. "What does this mean?" she whispered, fear creeping into her voice. "It means we are closer now to understanding." The figure spoke, his calm presence like a lighthouse amidst the growing tempest. "The shadows are not to be feared. They are teachers. Embrace them." Rebecca took a deep breath, trying to steady her racing heart. She looked to her friends, who formed a circle around her, their hands clasped tightly in solidarity. In that moment, an unspoken vow resonated. They would face whatever came together. Emboldened, the winds whipped around them, a chorus of whispers swirling in the air. Each gust felt alive, pressing against their bodies, urging them forward. Rebecca could feel her heart racing, the thrill of adventure pulsing through her veins. "We're really doing this," she said, her voice almost drowned out by the rumbling thunder above. "Fear not," Daniel shouted, clenching his fists in encouragement. "This storm is just a beginning. Remember that light will always emerge. We must keep moving." His confidence radiated, infusing the group with a shared sense of purpose that broke through the growing darkness. As they trudged onwards, Rebecca noticed the ground shifting beneath her feet. The vibrant flowers that had once invited them with fragrant allure began to twist and fade. The colors dulled, and the joyous sounds shifted to somber notes that echoed her own rising trepidation. Yet amid this transformation, the figure stood steady, a pillar of hope against the brewing chaos. "Look," the figure exclaimed, pointing into the distance. They squinted through the haze as shafts of light broke through the clouds, shimmering like golden lighthouses guiding lost ships at sea. "What is that?" Sarah, one of Rebecca's companions, asked incredulously, tilting her head in wonder. "Those are the seeds of your faith," the figure replied, his voice soft and melodic. "Each ray carries the promise of what is to come. Remember, the unfolding of truth often begins with a struggle." They stepped closer to the source of the light, and Rebecca felt a stirring in her spirit, a hunger for revelation. "What secrets are you hiding from us?" she called out to the light, curiosity overcoming her fear. "That illumination," the figure said, his tone grave yet soothing, "is drawn from your willingness to journey into the depths. The light must burrow through the shadows of doubt to bring forth understanding. It will require you to let go of what you cling to." Rebecca wrestled with this notion. Letting go seemed daunting, as though it meant abandoning parts of herself. But a fire ignited within her. "I can't let fear decide my fate," she declared, her voice stronger, no longer wavering. "God rewards the brave," Daniel affirmed, stepping alongside her. "Each step we take brings clarity, even if we stumble." With renewed vigor, the group pressed onward, moving toward the light. It danced before them, vibrant and inviting. But Rebecca sensed an energy pulsing behind them, dark tendrils of doubt, twisting like vines around her heart. She struggled against their pull, knowing that these feelings of fear attempted to weaken her resolve. "Stay close," whispered Sarah, reaching for Rebecca's hand. a gesture that spoke volumes. They formed a chain of support, pulling strength from each other, becoming a tapestry of shared faith. The figure watched, a knowing smile on his face. Together you will shine brighter. Suddenly, a deafening clap of thunder rolled overhead, shaking the ground. For a moment, darkness veiled their path in a swirl of chaos. Panic flared in Rebecca's chest, but it was short-lived. In that chaos, she heard a voice, not from outside, but within her. Even in storms, I am with you. And just like that, the clouds parted partially, revealing a brilliant burst of light. Absorbing its warmth, she felt fears melt away like morning dew in the sun. They were on the brink of something truly magnificent. What lies ahead? She wondered aloud, heart racing with expectancy. The figure responded, a revelation like no other. The dawning of deeper faith awaits, but it calls for a brave heart to embrace it. Rebecca felt excitement swell within her. Could it be that the greatest truth of all was just around the corner, waiting for them to discover? They exchanged knowing glances, stepping together into the light, ready for whatever revelations awaited them. What truth would reveal itself if they dared to go further? Would this revelation shake the very foundations of their faith? As they stepped into the radiant light, a hush fell over the group. The warmth enveloped them like a gentle embrace, soothing away the remnants of fear. Each pulse of light vibrated with an energy they could almost touch. Rebecca gasped at the beauty surrounding them. The air shimmered, filled with an ethereal glow that transformed the bleakness into a canvas of hope. Do you feel it? Sarah whispered, blinking in disbelief. It's like everything is alive. Indeed, the figure said, his presence now radiating a deeper intensity. This is the moment when your faith walks hand in hand with divine truth. The light reveals possibilities previously veiled. Rebecca closed her eyes, letting the warmth penetrate her soul. She had often whispered prayers in the dark, seeking guidance, yearning for answers. Yet here, in this luminescent embrace, she sensed her heart opening. What will we find, then? She murmured, barely able to contain her anticipation. The figure beckoned them to follow, leading them toward a path paved with golden beams. Are you prepared to confront your fears? To navigate the depths of your own understanding? Yes, Daniel exclaimed, bold in spirit. No more doubt can hold us back. Taking a deep breath, Rebecca felt the chains of uncertainty begin to break. The path ahead twisted and turned, lit by flickering shades of light that seemed to dance playfully. Each step resonated with a promise, urging them closer to a truth yet to be unveiled. They walked in silence, hearts pounding in unison. As they ventured deeper, Rebecca was struck by the beauty around them. The trees shimmered with crystals, leaves sparkling as though kissed by morning dew. Tiny orbs of light floated in the air, each humming a soft hymn that echoed like whispers of encouragement. Suddenly, a thick mist rolled in, obscuring their path. The atmosphere shifted, the joy fading as doubt crept back like a thief in the night. Rebecca felt the chill creep into her spirit, a reminder of past struggles gnawing at her resolve. What is happening? She breathed, panic rising once more. Fear not the mist, the figure reassured them. It reveals the depth of your belief. Rebecca clenched her fists, recalling their purpose. We have journeyed too far to turn back, she announced, her voice steadying. What lies beyond this darkness is a promise. As if compelled by her declaration, the mist began to recede, revealing an ancient tree in the heart of the clearing. Its branches spanned wide, filled with glowing fruit. Each piece shimmered with a unique light, colors shifting and glowing with a rhythm that matched their hearts. What are they? Sarah gasped, eyes wide. Fruits of wisdom, the figure explained. Each one represents a lesson, a truth waiting to be born into your lives. To prosper, you must reach out and accept the teachings that God pours into your hearts. Instinctively, they stepped closer. The fruits drew them in like moths to a flame. They could almost taste the sweetness, could feel their hands tingling with an urge to grasp the potential. Remember, the figure cautioned. The fruit of faith is never without its trials. There will be a cost. Each lesson may lead you through moments of sorrow before bringing joy. Rebecca's heart raced. What did the figure mean? Could enduring hardship truly bring about a profound peace she had always sought? She turned to her companions, seeking affirmation. Are we ready? Together. Daniel replied fiercely, determination igniting in his voice. With mutual resolve, they reached for the nearest fruit. As they touched the glowing surface, a wave of energy surged through them, intertwining their hearts in a divine rhythm. In that moment, they understood. The cost was not merely theirs alone to bear. It was a shared journey of love, healing, and transformation. What revelation awaited after they took that leap of faith? Would they be ready for the changes that lay ahead? Would this truly shake the very foundations of their beliefs? As their fingers brushed against the radiant fruit, an overwhelming wave of warmth surged through Rebecca. She felt it cradle her spirit, weaving a tapestry of hope and courage. The colors expanded around them, brighter than before, encompassing their essence. In that glorious moment, she knew something monumental was about to unfold. Sarah gasped, the very air around her crackling with divine energy. I can feel it, she exclaimed, her eyes sparkling with excitement. It's like the fruit is alive. It's urging us to embrace it. Daniel nodded, his resolve unwavering. This is our chance, he said, determination firming his voice. We must grasp this opportunity. With collective anticipation, they closed their eyes and held their breath, each of them drawing the strength of their faith forward. Rebecca imagined the fruit as a vessel for all they yearned to know, peace, guidance, and the understanding of life's deeper purposes. Just as they plucked the fruit from its branch, a blinding light erupted from it, engulfing them in its divine glory. The clearing transformed, swirling with colors that danced like flames around them. The figure stood tall at the center, his presence magnified by the brilliance of the moment. Welcome, beloved ones, to the realm of revelation, he announced, his voice resonating like a gentle thunder. Rebecca felt her heart race, a sweet mixture of fear and exhilaration. What happens now? She whispered, glancing around at her friends, who mirrored her eagerness and trepidation. You have awakened an ancient truth, the figure replied. This fruit holds the secrets of your journey, the seeds of transformation buried deep within. Then, softly but firmly, he gestured towards the tree. Each fruit brings a divine lesson, but only when embraced fully can it manifest in your lives. Now, the choice is yours. Partake of these lessons and prepare for the trials ahead. Daniel stepped forward, his voice resolute. We choose to learn. We are ready. His words echoed through the clearing, filled with the power of shared determination. With hearts pounding, the three friends each took a fruit, its inviting glow pulsating in their grasp. The energy swirled around them, intertwining their souls and reinforcing their bond as seekers. A quiet stillness settled. Suddenly, visions began to dance before their eyes. They were taken to moments in their lives, times of heartache, joy, and deep introspection. Each memory swirled with color, vivid and poignant. They could see how their paths had been shaped by faith, doubt, and choices made in love. Look deeper, the figure encouraged. What do you see? Rebecca's heart thudded as she witnessed pivotal moments where doubt had overshadowed hope, where hopelessness felt insurmountable. But they were interspersed with scenes of triumph, small victories of faith that ignited the flame within her. Every trial has purpose, he continued. Even in darkness, light exists as a promise. The lessons you gather now will be the light guiding your path. Tears filled Rebecca's eyes, the weight of her journey making her acutely aware of her growth. I understand now, she breathed softly. The struggles have shaped my spirit. Each one whispered of hope, reminding me I am never alone. Sarah and Daniel stood beside her, their eyes shining with clarity, echoes of understanding radiating between them. Each fruit pulsed with a heartbeat, an invitation for the trials that awaited, promising growth even amidst pain. As they stood together in a circle, embracing the unity of their spirits, the clearing felt charged with an almost expectant energy. They were not just participants, they would become luminaries, bearers of light from that day forward. What more lies ahead? Sarah wondered aloud, staring at the figure, her heart ablaze with questions. What will we learn on this path? The figure smiled knowingly. The greatest revelations come from embracing uncertainty. Trust that together, you will discover the unfolding of divine truth. Their voices trembled with anticipation, ready to traverse the sacred landscape before them. Would they find the answers they sought? What trials awaited them on this journey of transformation? A mysterious wind stirred, rustling the leaves, whispering secrets they could not yet comprehend, but enticing them to dare to find out. As the winds of destiny swirled around Rebecca and her companions, hope and uncertainty wove together like threads in a tapestry. The ground beneath them shimmered with the culmination of their faith, the birth of a new understanding now rippling through their very beings. Take the next step, the figure urged, his voice echoing like a melody through the clearing. The path ahead is laden with gifts, but they require surrender, courage, and community. Rebecca felt her heart swell as she looked at her friends. They were no longer just members of the same congregation. They had become fellow travelers on this sacred journey, bound by trials and revelations yet to come. We will embrace whatever comes next, she declared, her voice steady, resonating with the resolve that pulsed within her spirit. Together, we rise. Together, we fight. Together, we believe. The figure nodded, his eyes glowing with approval. Then let begin. With each lesson you grasp, a door will open to another truth. What was once cloaked in darkness will shine brighter than you ever imagined. The fruits they had held were indeed portals of understanding, wisdom waiting to be unveiled. But first, they had to accept the journey of trial and necessary passage for the unveiling of the glory hidden within. With united determination, they clasped hands and focused on the path ahead. A luminous light spread throughout the clearing, each step forward igniting sparks of divine potential. As they walked, the scenery began to change again, vibrant blossoms shifting into tumultuous storms, radiant sunsets turning to turbulent nights. It was as if the very fabric of nature mirrored their deepest fears and aspirations. Do you see? The figure spoke gently, guiding them through this metamorphosis. Transformation often follows the chaos. Out of turmoil, peace emerges. With every challenge comes the opportunity for growth. Rebecca felt the weight of each storm, the biting winds wrapping around them in a tight embrace, as if testing their resolve. At times, doubt crept in a whisper echoing, "Are you strong enough? What if you fail?" But then she remembered the light, the precious promises they had cultivated through their journeys together. "No storm can extinguish the flame born of our faith," she repeated, anchoring her spirit. Around her, Daniel and Sarah echoed her affirmation. "We are stronger together," Daniel shouted, igniting sparks of fire with his conviction. As they forged through the shadows, the figure gestured towards the horizon. "Unravel your burdens," he commanded. "Only by releasing the weights you carry will you grasp the divine hand held out before you." With that, Rebecca found herself filled with an overwhelming desire to let go. Letting go of the fear of inadequacy, the doubts that hindered her progress, the weight of expectations she clung to for far too long. "I release my fears," she cried, her voice strong and unwavering. Around her, the air seemed to shimmer at her declaration, mirroring the release she felt inside. Others joined her, voices rising up like an anthem of strength. "I let go of anxiety. I relinquished despair. I surrendered to hope." Their declarations formed a chorus, drowning out the winds of doubt that had sought to steer them off course. Suddenly, the tempest began to fade. The darkness receded as if bowing to their united faith, retreating into the folds of the earth. The clouds broke apart, revealing a sky so bright it seemed to penetrate every invisible crevice of fear within them. What triumph! The figure proclaimed, raising his arms wide, welcoming their victories. In letting go, you have paved the way for the light. You are beacons. Tears streamed down Rebecca's face, not of sorrow, but of joy, an overwhelming sense of gratitude flooding her heart. The storms had served their purpose, revealing what she had been capable of, strength she had not known existed. As the tumult transitioned into tranquil winds, a radiant light emerged from the firmament above, cascading over the land like a glorious sunrise, touching each one of them with a warm embrace. They stood together, bathed in its glow, sensing sweetness in their connection, a divine light illuminating their purpose. You are called to greater things, the figure affirmed, his voice rich with wisdom. Your healing and revelations will ripple through this world. Let your journey become a testimony, a bridge for others yearning for their own truth. Rebecca's heart soared with renewed purpose as she realized their journey was not merely about personal growth, but also an invitation to shine light for others. We are messengers of hope, she declared, drawing deeper connections within her spirit. Suddenly, vibrant flowers began to bloom around them, each petal glistening with possibility. The clearing transformed into a kaleidoscope of colors, pulsating with life. From every flower, a melody sprang forth, a symphony of gratitude that resonated with their souls. We shall bear the fruit of our journey, and in doing so, bless others, Sarah added, her eyes bright with resolve. The figure smiled, his presence radiating divine warmth. Indeed, your collective faith will become a lighthouse, guiding others through their storms, he proclaimed. Together, they gathered the fruits that now littered the ground, each one pulsing with life, a promise awaiting to be unlocked. They decided to carry them back to Eldersham, ready to share the gifts hidden within. Rebecca felt a sense of profound joy, knowing their journey had only just begun. They were transformed, called to a higher purpose in the world. They had not merely found healing for themselves. They were now vessels of divine love. Let's go back, she commanded, energized and ready to spread the message of hope. Each of them embraced, rooted in a bond stronger than they had ever known. As they stepped away from the clearing, the radiant light guiding their path, Rebecca turned back, gazing once more at the figure. "Thank you," she whispered with heartfelt sincerity. The figure nodded, a knowing look in his eyes. "Continue to carry the light, for there are many waiting to see it." With that final affirmation, they left the realm of revelation, hearts ablaze with purpose, ready to uplift their village and the world beyond, transformed, emboldened, and undeniably anchored in the faith they had claimed as their own. And so, the seeds of their journey took root, blooming in countless lives, precious and divine, changing the tapestry of Eldersham forever. Subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss the next exclusive faith stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm. Comment your reactions and testimonies about the ending below. Share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this manifestation. You need to subscribe now. This is the moment to show your support. Don't wait even one more second to share. Only true servants of God understand the importance of supporting the channel through these actions.